Alright, man. Back in the saddle for this final installment of this Sirian Star Power. Now, I'm gonna give a quick review of where I left off at. Now, let me see what page that is. Now, we're dealing with the IU, or I ain't gonna go back there. Fuck it. We're dealing with the IU, right? So now in the last video, I was breaking down how Gerald Massey was critiquing the other author who he saw a picture of the which could be considered soot, which is a anthropomorphic deity with a human body and the head of a donkey holding two dead scorpions. Now, I already broke down the meaning of that symbol, so I ain't gonna spend too much time right there, but the author that he was critiquing saw what he didn't understand was, that's why Gerald Massey said he only knew of one axis. What Gerald Massey was implying was basically what he was saying was you have to understand the duality of each sign or whatever. Because everything consists of a masculine and a feminine half. So even though you might have Set, and Set might be a predominantly dark figure, or falls under the he falls under the feminine side of the dichotomy or whatever, which is a contradiction within itself, because the feminine, or we just say yin and yang, the yang is the feminine, excuse me, the yin is the feminine, and female falls under femininity. See, a woman is predominantly female, but to be a woman, or the state of being a woman, is just the attribute or one of the characteristics of what we call feminine. So all actuality, you could say feminine womanhood is exclusive to femininity, but femininity is not exclusive to womanhood, meaning in the same way with masculinity, being a male is characteristic of masculinity, but masculinity is not limited or bound to manhood. So what I'm saying, and the reason I'm saying it is because a man is predominantly masculine, but he also has a feminine aspect, or feminine half of him. So what do you have right there? You have a male, which means to be predominantly masculine, but the male has a masculine and a feminine half of itself or whatever. So he also has a feminine partake of him. So he's not straight up just straight male, or straight male without a feminine counterpart, whether he's aware of it or not, or a feminine aspect of himself. So even though he's a man, he's male, and male falls under the masculine principle, the feminine aspect of himself would be the reason that, or the feminine aspect of a male would be the reason why he couldn't be considered, or wouldn't be correctly considered, or a person wouldn't be correct if they was to consider manhood or being a male no, excuse me, if they was to say that masculinity was exclusive to male or being a male, you'd be wrong if you say that, because the male has a feminine aspect of itself as well. So therefore, the masculine energy still involves the feminine, although everything that falls under the category of masculinity is predominantly masculine or whatever. So just like the sun will fall under the category of masculinity, because but it has the sun is light, but the sun is actually a black ball of fire. So the black physical aspect of the sun will be the feminine. The black part of it will be we'll put it like this: the part of the sun that you see that's physical is black. You just don't know that because the light is shining, so the light that's illuminating from within it is shining so bright that you can't even see the ball that it's illuminating from or whatever. The feminine dark ball or physical phenomenon that it's illuminating from or emanating from is hidden by the light or whatnot. So you know where the hell I was going with that. Okay, yeah, so back to the donkey thing, all right. So yeah, so now you got the so let's go to the IU thing or whatever. So the IU, take IU for example. Now for my study, I've been dealing with that word for about a good, or reading up on this word for a good about 10 years now. At least 10, probably more. But even though the ass or the donkey is associated with soot or set, even though it's the zoo type for set, it's also the zoo type for the IU. Or we'll put it like this: IU, you can look at IU as a version of Set, the Christ version. IU, when you're dealing with the IU, by IU being synonymous with the donkey, that's what gives it a relation or correlation to Set. So you have to do the science on it. So I was like, okay, but at the same time, when you look up the IU is a name of the Christ. It's a version of Christ. So it's really like a paradox. You have to. That's why you have to be like water to break this type of shit down. So when you see the IU, you be like, IU, what does that mean? Well, IU is the Christ. And they'll be like, well, show me the symbol for IU. And then they'll show you the symbol, it'll be a donkey. We be like, well, how the hell is the donkey the Christ? If the Christ is the light and the Christ overcomes the set type of energy or whatever, how is IU synonymous with Christ, but it's represented by the donkey? And when you go back to what Gerald Massey was saying about the dude only knowing one ass, or only knowing the one type, or only knowing one reference point that the ass is symbolic of, he missed the whole he missed the whole point. So when you look at the IU automatically implies to Christ. So when you look at the ass, when you say, well, how does the ass how is the ass a zoo type of Christ? I mean of Set, which is supposed to be the enemy of Osiris and Heru, which is the Christ figure. But then when I ask you what IU mean, you say it means Christ. Then you say the zoo type for it is the ass. Well, you have what you call, it's a book. I never read the book before, but I heard a book about it before. But it's called the Golden Ass. The Golden Ass is IU. So when you call like, so you can basically say we could just take let's just take a donkey right here. Now the donkey, when you look dealing with the word IU, the donkey is the word we put it like this. The word IU would be the Christ. And then when you pull up the zoo type for it, which is the ass will represent the physical phenomenon or whatever. So take the word Jew. The word Jew comes from the word IU, because they said we was using I before J became it put the J in the alphabet or whatever. So it would be IUL at first, or IU and the EL, because the Jew would be the IU, which would be the donkey, and then the L will be the star, which is the light. IU, the donkey, symbolizes the physical phenomenon. You put it with the L, you got IUL, the L being the star within the physical phenomenon. So IUL would be a way of saying, a way of indicating physical phenomenon that possess the vitalizing spark that floods throughout it and causes it to be a quote unquote golden phenomenon or golden ass or whatever. So IU would be the donkey, L would be, or IU would be the donkey, which represents the physical phenomenon, and L would be the light, which is buried or within the physical phenomenon. But when you take the word IU by itself, IU would be what IU took. Okay, so you take the word IU and then you take the zoo type, which is the donkey, and you put them together. The donkey now becomes what when you take IU, IU being the donkey, IU being the physical phenomenon, L being the light. When you take the donkey and the IU, you be like, well, show me the symbol, the zoo type for the IU. When you put up the donkey now becomes the representative of the physical phenomenon, and the word IU represents the light that illuminates the physical phenomenon. So the zoo type and the word that is associated with, or synonymous with, or associated with, creates the same type of thought form or the same type of combination. You can basically say that the description of what the concept that that IUL was a evolved version of the IUL was a compound word, which basically was a evolved version of the idea that IU and the zoo type attached to it, IUL would be an evolved version of what the ancestors or those that came, or basically the idea we was trying to convey when we took the word IU and attached it to or made it synonymous or used the donkey as the zoo type for the word IU. IUL would be with what it took for us to convey with a word in a zoo type. IUL would be, which that would be a compound thought or whatever, the IU and the donkey together or whatever. But IUL would be an evolved version of that. So IU will when you put the L on the IU automatically implies the IU becomes the donkey, because when you see IU, you know the zoo type, so you automatically you automatically associate it with the donkey, and Then the L represents, and the donkey being synonymous with the physical phenomenon, and then the L being the light which powers or vitalizes the physical phenomenon. So IUL would represent light within the darkness or whatever. But then when you so when this dude saw so you could say IUL would be, just to say hypothetically speaking, let's say hypothetically speaking, let's say we were high priest and we started to realize that just a lot of people was doing what the author that Gerald Maxey was critiquing his book did, which was see the donkey but only see one aspect of it. So it's almost as if we said, well, this is what we'll do. We'll create a new word, since IU, since they see the donkey and the only thing they think of is the set typing version of it or the set version of it, or when they see IU, they automatic, since the only thing they think of when they see the donkey is the dark version of it without the light, and then the word IU is attached to the donkey, then maybe it got to a point to where when people heard the word IU, they heard the word IU and then they thought about the donkey, then they thought about darkness with no light, when really IU originally implied the light. But it was so associated with the donkey alone that the word itself started to become just incorrectly perceived as representing just straight darkness by itself, or the donkey without the light or whatever, when actuality it automatically implied the light that was within the physical phenomenon, which is represented by the jackass or the donkey or whatever you want to call it. So it's like we said, okay, well, let's add L, since they didn't start identifying this word IU and they lost the understanding that it also implies the light. It also implies the light within the physical phenomenon. Let's add another word that means light, which is L, IUL. L being a star of light. Let's add that to it or whatever, and you got IUL or Jewel. Where do jewels lie? Jewels come from, well, buried in the earth, just like the light is buried in the darkness or whatever. Jewels, IULs, whatever. So I hope I'm explaining this kind of clear. I'm trying to take y'all through the depths of the mind or whatnot, the Pan's labyrinth of this shit. So yeah, and just like on the flip side, you got set. When you think of set falls under he falls under the yang energy or the feminine energy or whatever. But he's a masculine deity. So that goes to show you he falls under the dark category or the category of femininity, but he represents the dark aspect of the male. So men or males or whatever are masculine, but he's a masculine deity, but he falls under the darkness or the feminine aspect. So that's a contradiction within itself. That's a that's what you call a reconciliation of contradictions. But he's on the dark side or whatever. And you got another word called typhoon. This is where you get your set typhonian. You hear about the set typhons. But the typhoon, you got typhon or typhoon, which means blind. That's so you'll hear set, and by set being having a negative connotation, or having I don't want to say negative because negative is not a bad within itself, but we'll say undesirable or bad, which he does have. He has a bad, he does play the antagonist in the drama. But that's a set, that would be considered set Typhon. Because Typhon itself means blind and darkness, and then Set means black itself. So that's double black. So you put Set, just like you put the IU and the L together, you put the Set and the Typhon together, you have Typhon would be a way of, just like IU would be a way of explaining that light within the ass, the Typhon, or the light within the darkness, the Typhon added to the Set will represent the blindness of the darkness, or the blind and blackness of the darkness that lacks the light. So Set represents darkness, but it represents the darkness that has the light within it. But if you add the Typhon to it, which means blind, egotistical, it's the extreme, it's the undesirable extreme version of darkness, or the dark side, or whatever. That would be the evil Set, or the Set that chops Osiris into pieces and all that. So I just want to break that dichotomy down right there. Now, we're gonna get to some more of this mother blood thing. Now this all runs hand in hand, because like I said, the ass represents the physical phenomenon or whatever, or physicality itself. And now we're gonna segue on over into the mother blood or whatnot. Now, what we dealing with this mother blood thing, I broke this down in I think back in the spring. Yeah, I think back in springtime when I broke it down, but I didn't get to go into detail with it, so this would be a good time to touch up on it. But the mother blood is basically, if you go and look at my the last few videos I did the last videos I did in the Formation of the Earth, Birth of the Sun series, you'll see how they spoke on this already. But you got the blood of the father. The blood of the father would be the spiritual or the light that's within the physical blood. The physical blood, or the red blood, would be the mother blood, as well as the melanin also falls under the mother blood as well. Even they tell you when what they tell you, that your blood is originally blue, and then when it comes to the surface and the oxygen hit it, it turns red or whatever. I don't want to go too deep. I'm gonna say that'll go right along with some more shit I want to do in another few videos. So I ain't gonna go. I'm finna take y'all somewhere, but I'll wait. But the melanin in they even tell you that your blood is black, or your blood is blue. Blue and black, they go hand in hand. You got the black, like for example, if you look at the sky, you got the dark sky, or the blackness of the sky when it's dark outside, and then when the sun rises up, you have the blue sky or whatever. So black and blue, they go hand in hand. But before the red blood, or the blood that we now consider blood, or the blood that's in your veins or whatever, before that, the original version of that was melanin. The dark waters of noon, the melanated waters or whatever. The melanin before the water was separated from it, as it was referred to, or as the process was referred to in Genesis, the separating of the waters. When they talk about separating the waters, they're talking about separating that which we know as water now, the clear water that was inside of the melanin. That's when they separate the water, that's when the clear water precipitates from out of the melanin and rises up
following the light that came from the center. When all them lamps set up, all this became filled up with a, matter of fact, I'm finna go get to show y'all something real quick. When the, so some of the word what I'm trying to say to make a long story short, the blood we bleed now, the original version of that before a physical phenomenon or the physical manifestation took place, the original version of that was liquid melanin or melanin in a liquid form or whatever. And melanin in a liquid form. But the viscousness of it or the stickiness of it or the liquefied part of it, it became hardened the more and more the clear waters or the light waters were separated from the dark waters, or i.e. the melanin. So I want to read something real quick. So yeah, but now the reason why the mother blood is considered the physical blood is considered the mother blood is because, like I just said, like I said earlier, the feminine physicality or the physical world falls under the category of femininity, and the physical world, well, take it back to the melanin. The melanin is synonymous with physical phenomenon, because when the light infuses itself into the darkness, the light or the information entered into the melanin and started shaping physical phenomenon. Basically like downloading a computer program into the melanin or whatever. So when the light flooded into the melanin or whatever, as it came through that center and spread it all throughout the circumference of the circle, creating this, what you had was melanin. You still had this full light, but you had melanin or darkness in there too, that the melanin was working in conjunction with. That melanin was being shaped and molded into everything that will come into physical fruition or whatever. So that was the first level of the blood. And then when humans finally came into once the first, when all that shaping of physical phenomenon and creation was taking place up here, it was creating the shell or the IU or the set typhon or the physical phenomenon prior to it receiving its vitalizing spark or whatever. So now when you hear about the Immaculate Conception, immaculate means clean and conception means to bring forth. So when you hear about the Immaculate Conception, and I'm saying that because they finished the mother blood was considered dirty. Now, well, I wish I had more time. But anyway, the mother blood is considered dirty. So the physical body is shaped via or shaped by or created by shaping the mother blood or the melanin in the melanin in the melanin blood. So when they say the mother blood, not only are they talking about the red blood that runs in your veins, but they're talking about melanin period, the physical, basically the component that's used to create physical phenomenon or whatever. But when they say the Immaculate Conception, they're talking about the part of you that the spiritual part of you, the part of you that was came to be, or has always been and always will be. It didn't go through the physical process. It was already here. The physical process is a reflection of it. And after the physical came into fruition, it incorporated itself or enmeshed itself within the physical. So like I was telling you about the golden ash. The ash represents the physical phenomenon. The gold represents the light that emanates from the soul and floods throughout the whole physical phenomenon. So take your body for example. Your soul would be the gold or the light, and this light, once you raise Kundalini energy, and that Kundalini energy strikes the pineal gland, the light throughout your whole body comes online. So that light that was laying dormant within the physical phenomenon, or laying dormant within the melanin that exists deep within your organs and in your flesh and tissue and all that right there, all that light, when you raise that light at the center, so this would be where your Kundalini energy will be until you raise it up. And you raise it up and it strike up here. Once it hits the pineal gland, all this goes from being dark to gold light coming to the surface. Hence the little flex right there. All that gold light coming to the surface and flood the surface, creating the golden ash. The ash, I know when you hear ash, you usually think just the first thing coming to your mind is the booty or whatever, which that is the ash too. That's valid too, but really the ash just symbolizes the lower nature or the bottom, period. So, you know, you could, I know we think about, I'm saying it because I'm finna go into something too, but so yeah. Let me read a little bit up on this mother blood. But yeah, the mother blood is the representative of the physical phenomenon, the physical aspect of it. And the father, but so what am I saying that? I'm not saying that the feminine part isn't spiritual, but the part of you that hinders your spiritual, or the obvious part of you. See, one thing about the physical world, you need food, clothing, and shelter. See, when they say that shit in the Bible about God being a jealous God, they talking about the physical part of you, the physical part of you which demands automatically demand attention. So you have to be you have to somehow be swayed, or somewhere on your path you have to have some type of realization or epiphany that leads you towards getting in tune with the God within. Something has to happen. You have to have some type of experience that push you in that direction. When you're dealing with the physical ass part of yourself, the physical food you need, or the physical food, clothing, and shelter you need, you know that off the top. Don't nobody have to tell you that. Hungry is hungry. A roof over the head, you know you need that. That's just common sense. Don't nobody have to come and tell you, well, look, I need you to go into the closet and meditate. And when you come out, you're going to realize you need this thing called food. And when you realize that, you don't need all that. When that baby come out the goddamn womb, he crawls up to the breast off the rip. You don't need, that's just that's a given. So these when he says he's a jealous God, it's saying it's jealous because it won't. It say when he say worship no other God, that's a dollar bro type shit right there. When he say don't worship any other God than me, that's a cold way of saying, or a cold way, or that dialogue represents physical, the physical needs of the world that almost automatically draws your attention to him out of necessity, out of the nature of this place. So yeah, when you hear him speaking about the mother blood, like, let me read. Just read. I hope I can finish this in this last sentence, but I gotta get this one out. Cause see, this is important. I'm gonna show you when the first video I did. Well, before I did the first video, something told me to scroll around on Facebook, on Instagram a little bit, and before I started, and I did, and I seen my kinfolk at a Mary J. Blige concert, and I said I love it when a plan come together, cause not a plan, cause I didn't even know she was in town and shit. This was news to me, but when I saw that, now my kinfolk, she from San Antonio, so when I saw her, I thought the concert was in I thought she was in San Antonio. Then I seen somebody else post a picture from the concert, and it was in Houston. So my kinfolk must be out here somewhere. All come together because what I was finna speak on was the mother blood, and that's where your whole, and this all goes together because we going into the Halloween season, so this is right on time. But the Bloody Mary thing, all this shit goes together. So keep that in mind. Bloody Mary. But let me get to this first though. What is it? All right, so all right, Star. It say, we know how Horus came by water on his papyrus. Well, I start from the beginning of the paragraph. The primitive mysteries were founded on the facts and the nature which are verifiable today as from the first, whereas the mysteries of Christian theology have been manufactured, shoddy-like, from the leavings of the past by the modus operandum of miracle. These remain today unverified because they are forever unverifiable. We know how Horus came by water on his papyrus. How then did he come by blood? The child had been incorporated in the fish, the shoot, the branch, the beetle, calf, or lamb as the representative type. And in its incarnation, Horus came by blood, not by the blood shed on a tree or the tack cross. He came to earth by blood as representative of the human Osirian system. A representative of the human soul that came by blood. So basically, they're talking about the light within the blood. Like I was just telling you about the melanin that's inside of the blood. That's one way of looking at it. Then they say the ritual tells us that the gods issued out of silence. This was portrayed in the Osirian system when the infant Horus is depicted pointing with his finger to his mouth, making a sign of silence, as it was understood in all the mysteries. And it's funny because I just posted a picture where I was pointing my thumb at my mouth with basically so many words when it's saying just making a sign of silence. In so many words, it's saying being able to manifest the Christhood without speaking. That don't mean you have to go on a fucking strike or not talking, but it means I can show you or demonstrate that I'm the Christ. I can do it by talking, Or sometimes I can sit around me and happen to show you without me even having to say anything. But it doesn't mean you walk around here and hold no goddamn secrets when it comes to this shit. Teaching this shit or whatever. So clear that shit up. But let me see. All right, so we'll skip down the hill because that's a little rest of this kind of out of context, but we'll go right here. The doctrine of salvation by the blood of Isis connoted the idea of coming into existence by means of the mother blood, or mystically the blood of the Virgin Mother. In primitive biology, all birth and production of human life was first delivered from the mother's blood, which was afterwards informed by the soul of the fatherhood. That's why I was just telling y'all, the mother blood represents the physical aspect of everything. The father blood comes and informs or instills the information within the melanin, or gives the melanin the blueprint. The melanin using the locomotive force of the spirit or the light aspect of things, takes that blueprint and creates the physical world that we see today. This is the creation myth process I'm referring to. But that's why I say which was in primitive biology, all birth and production of human life was first derived from the mother's blood, which was afterwards informed by the soul of the fatherhood. So you come into this world in your physical body, but you have to, your soul is embedded within the physical body, but you have to resurrect that soul, because when your physical body is born and you come to life physically, your soul goes to sleep. So you have to resurrect or wake up that physical body, and that's what you call being born twice, because you're born in the physical phenomenon, and some will even say the physical coming into the physical is a death, because when you're born into the physical, your physical aspect of you comes alive and puts your soul to death or sleep. And then it's your job to embark upon your path and resurrect the Christ within that physical phenomenon and become the Christ body, or the glorified or the Sahu, or illuminating the light that and bringing the light that exists within the melanin throughout your whole body to the surface. When you bring that light to the top, it comes to the top of the melanin, and the melanin is under it. Like, so when you hear about well, I'm finna go in, well, I'll speak on that when I get there. Let me finish reading this. Procreation cannot occur until a female was pubescent. Therefore, blood was a sign of source as the primary creator. Okay, because that goes right in hand what I'm finna say. In primitive biology, all birth and production of human life was first derived from the mother's blood, which was afterwards informed by the soul of the fatherhood. The lesson first taught by nature was that life came by blood. Procreation could not occur until a female was pubescent. Therefore, blood was a sign of source as the primary creative human element. So it's basically saying, it's referring to how women can't have babies until at least after nature won't allow them to have babies until after they have their period or whatever. Which it's an age-old debate in the conscious community where some people are saying, well, the period is bad and we're not supposed to have periods. That's not true. The earth itself had a period when we was in commission to create this place. So you're just acting a rendition or a reenactment of when you had your period, it's just a reenactment of what the earth itself went through. But anyway, Sales quotes the Arabic tradition that Jesus was not born like any other man from blood concrete and in the flesh, but came in the flow or in the flowing blood that was in the virgin's blood, first personalized in Horus, who was made flesh as the virgin's child. The doctrine of the incarnation was dependent on the soul. The doctrine of the incarnation was dependent on the soul of life originating in the mother blood.
The first that was held specifically and exclusively human on account of its incarnation. This was the soul derived from a mother who was the mythical virgin in biology, and who was afterwards mystified by theology as the mother of God, the eternal virgin typified in the likeness of the totemic. The blood mother had been recognized sociologically as the virgin. Thence came the doctrine of a virgin mother as a type. Blood was the mother of a soul. Blood was the mother of a soul now differentiated from the external souls as human. First, the white vulture of the virgin Neith, next the red heifer of the virgin Isis, then the human virginity. They're showing you 3 different versions of the virgin in ancient times, but the type of eternal virgin. She in whom the mystery of maternal source was divinized as the virgin mother in eschatology. All right. I might have to do it. I thought this was gonna be the goddamn last one, but I might go ahead and end this one and just start, because this segues into something else I want to tap into anyway. So I'm gonna get all I'll say is the next series I start, I'm gonna be picking up from right here. So this is like a segue into my my next series that I want to do anyway. But I get this out since Mary J came to town today, and it's and it's kind of relevant to what I'm speaking on right now. Plus we in the Halloween season, so let's kick some shit off. Now, Bloody Mary. They say you look in the mirror and you say Bloody Mary, I think 5 times or something like that, and she's supposed to show up or something like that. Well, let me show you where that comes from. The mirror and all that. First and foremost, the moon is okay, physical phenomenon is the cause, is the effect, right? Spiritual phenomenon, or the spiritual aspect of things, is the cause. So the physical will be a reflection of what was once spiritual, or was spiritual, or whatever, or whatnot. So when you're dealing with reflections, mirrors are symbols of reflection. The moon reflects the light of the sun. I don't know what these niggas be talking about here, but the moon reflects the light of the sun or whatever. So it's considered to be a mirror or whatnot, or a mirror, or mirrors are symbolized or symbolical of the moon or whatever. That's why Oshun carries the mirror or whatever. So we go back to the creation process. And if you gotta catch up on this shit, this the first video you see, you need to go back and look at the old ones. This for the people that's following this shit now. But as we know, when all this light shot up through here, all the water that was in the melanin that was sitting at the surface, the melanin was oozing down here, the clear waters were separating from the melanated waters going up here, following the light, precipitation. When it's set up like this, next thing you know, all these went up and congregated up here. And all that water that fought, when each one of these went up a step, the water went up with it. This is as far as the water could go. So when all the energy went up from here, this point up into there, all that froze. And that's what created the moon, the mirror or whatnot. So now when you read up on the ass and ancient Kemetic mythology,
you'll come across one of the rituals where they talk about the eating of the ass. Now I'm gonna need you to take your take your mind out of porn mode and put it in the science mode or whatnot. With the eater of the ass. Now one might say, well, what the hell are the Egyptians was talking about when they was talking about the eater of the ass? Well, like I just told y'all earlier, the ass, not only is it synonymous with your bottom or your buttocks or whatnot, it represents your lower self or the bottom part of you. So this would be the ass or the donkey or whatnot. Now, Mary, what they say Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. So when all these went up, this would be Mary. All that went up, really the whole shit would be Mary, but it's different variations of it. But this would be Mary, this would be the lamb down here. The white moon, when all that light goes up here, you have all that darkness is going to be illuminated with light. So you have a black ball right here, but you won't know it's black because of the light. Just like when you see the sun is black, but the light emanating from within it is so bright, you don't even see the dark physical aspect that it's emanating from. All you see is the light. The light, the light is covering it. That's where you get your whole thing from in this book, where it says you have to trample, in order for the kingdom to come, you have to trample the garment of shame under foot of the spiritual part of you. Basically it's saying you have to illuminate yourself and bring that light to the top where it will where it overflows or comes to the top of the physical or the darkness or whatever. So all that'll be up here, and then you have the white snow fleece. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. So the eater of the ass, when the sun, when everything goes through its process, the whirlwind and all that, when the sun comes down, the sun's created up here, then it shoots back out of the darkness, it comes back down here, it fixates right here, and then the earth starts to push up, shooting, or the wind starts to push the earth up. Now, this is the hell thing. We're back at the hell thing. When the eating of the ass, when the sun stops right here and these start pushing up, each one of these have to travel through that flame right there. It has to be consumed by that fire or ate by that fire. This is the ass. So when it says the eating of the ass is basically the final process of the ass end of the process, or the end of the process, or going towards the end of the process of the whole creation of the universe or whatever. So as each one of these rises, as the earth, as the sun fixates right here, and then the wind of Shu pushes the earth up around the sun, or up through this up, pushes this up, sending each one of these through this center point. And these are your chakras. This is the root chakra, the red chakra, or whatever. So as each one of these go push their way through here, they explode and let out a different version of themselves, which corresponds to the 4 elements. So you get a physical aspect of one of each one of them. Earth, which would be earth. You get a wind aspect of each one, which would be the air or gas. Then you have the water, which would be the liquid form, and then you have the fire, which would be basically be the etherical fire, or the ether fire, or the light, the true fire. So But we'll deal with the liquid since we're dealing with the blood. So when each one of these go through here, the liquid version of them travels through those veins up to the top to irrigate and flood the top with the content that they consist of. So you know, so you got your violet, indigo, blue, green, orange. I mean yellow, orange, red. Just the red, just the root chakra. So by the time this pushes up and this goes right here, the sun meets up with the root chakra or the red chakra. That's where you get your red heifer from. The sun is the heifer. This is the mother cow. This is her son. And in commission about to be relieved or about to push the earth off his back and be born out of the womb right here of the earth. But while it's sitting at that this point right here with the root chakra, when it meets with the root chakra, by the root chakra being red, it becomes the red cow because it's the red sun or whatever. And then once this right here, all this lifts up to where you'll have this right here sitting right here with the rest of it coming up like that. Once it blows off of the sun and goes into its orbit, like this. Well, yeah, once it does that, I hope y'all can see that. Once it blows off and comes up like that, when this explodes, the mother blood or the red or the root chakra liquid goes up through here and comes out the top, and then it goes through but as it's traveling up here, it goes through each one of these veins as well. So it's going to explode right here, go through them, go that way, and then as it travels up, go this way. So it's going to go through all those veins, which corresponds to this right here. There's a fountain filled with blood, drawn from Emmanuel's vein. And that's some shit wild too, because I just seen Emmanuel Lewis on TikTok the other Friday. I was like, damn, kind of threw me for a loop. I ain't expect to see goddamn Webstone TikTok, but that was pretty live right there. But it says, drawn from Emmanuel's veins, and sinners plunged beneath that flood lose all their guilty stains. So that's speaking about the purification through the mother blood. Which I'm gonna have to get into this. I'm gonna wrap this one up, this series right here, but I'm gonna continue this topic into the next one because I can do that. But I'm gonna close this Sirian Star Power one out, and then I'm gonna pick up in the next series that I do. I'm gonna pick up where I left off at, because you'll see the relevancy of it. But because I ain't gonna have enough time. But the blood, I'll continue with the Bloody Mary thing when I on my next one. But remember, this is the mirror, the moon. So when all that mother blood comes up here and spreads throughout the land and nurtures the that's what you hear in the ritual. You'll hear by the blood of soot or the blood of the Sibo. The wicked followers was used to nourish or use as manure or use as fertilizer to fertilize the fields or whatever. When that explode and all that blood travel through all them veins as well as the top and land on the surface, and the soil on the surface absorbs it, it's being nurtured by the root chakra or the blood that came out of that grand root chakra or whatever. But I hit it up when I get back. Y'all hold tight, man. Peace.